What's up guys, it's your girl Little Fresh Sam. We're back in the studio with another amazing woman that I'm super freaking excited to interview. For those of you guys that don't know Jill, this is my mentor actually. Bringing her in to like share some knowledge with you guys and just give some value that she has. So I don't know all that you've done. I know a lot that you've done. She owns the shoe shining company in the DI airport. If you've seen there, been there, you know. And what are like 3 of your biggest accomplishments besides owning a company with tons of employees?
Probably winning my airport contracts. That was a pretty big deal. When I was really young, I lied and said I was 26 because I thought, you know, that sounded more mature, right? I was 26 for like 10 years. So probably that. What else? Big accomplishments. I'm excited about what we're doing on the Denver Women's Commission. I'm excited about making an impact in Denver with the women and girls. I'm excited about mentoring young people like you and seeing young people really blossom and really start to realize their potential. That's it for me. Yeah. So for me, it's really not my accomplishment, but that's like that's my favorite thing to see. My manager at the airport, he started out working for me when he was 14, and wow. And I had to let him go because he stuttered so much he couldn't even complete a sentence. And so he practiced talking, and then he came back and he's worked for me for 19 years now. Wow. And he's an amazing manager, and he's turned into an amazing human being. He's a father and a husband and everything now, and a really, really great human being and manager. So I'm really, really proud of that.
So you just have like a bunch of really well-molded human beings under your belt as accomplishments.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Including me.
Including you. Yeah.
So cool, man. So, for people, so this is like one of the biggest things I wanted you to explain to the world is how you operate your company. I think it's the most brilliant, risky, amazing thing I've ever heard.
Are you talking about the whatever makes you feel good? We do what we do because it comes from our heart.
First, what do you do? What do you guys do?
Oh, I own the shoe shining business at the airport, yeah. And we shine shoes for people, and we do a great job. And basically, what we do is we reveal beauty. And that's kind of what we do with everything, is that I see beauty everywhere. Yeah. And so that's the most amazing thing for me, is to take something that looks outwardly ugly and dirty and just clean it off and work with it and massage the leather and really bring it back to life, and then really make it shine and really blow people away. Yeah. When they're sitting there and they're like, oh my God.
It's the same shoe.
You're like, I can't even believe that happened. But it's a really good metaphor for human beings as well. Yeah. And when you work with them like that and how they blossom and shine and really discover all the magic that's within them is really my favorite thing. And
once you mold them.
And once when we get done, we tell customers, you know, they say, how much is it? And we say, whatever makes you feel good. And they're like, what?
Whatever makes you feel good. So you guys do this outstanding, amazing job, basically like make the person's day. I was going to say change their life. In a sense, you probably do.
Yeah.
And then you're like, they're like expecting to pay this big fee, and you're like, whatever you feel is good.
Yeah, whatever.
I think that's the craziest, coolest thing ever. So, okay, that's really risky because the business model, you know, that's a risky business model. How have you?
Not if you do a good job, though. It's really, it totally works for us. Yeah. Because then we get paid based on our effort, and right. So if you do something really amazing for someone, you give purely, and then you give them the opportunity to give back. So instead of it being like a take-take type of relationship in business, it's a give-give model. Yeah. And so it works amazingly well, and we make a lot of people really happy, and we make a lot of people feel good. And then they in turn have the opportunity to make us feel good. Right. So it's a really good, it builds relationship, it builds connection. One of the things I teach people is, what does love look like for the person in front of you? Mm-hmm. Because it's always different. So whatever they need at the time, that's what we're there to deliver. If they need someone to listen to them, if they need us to shut our mouth, you know, that's what we got to do.
Yeah. So that's so cool. So a risky business model that works really well because you guys just do an amazing job, and then I love this, it's not a take model, because that's what business is, right? Consume, or ask. but you're giving, and then when they ask what they can give you, you just tell them whatever feels good. Yeah. That's so cool. So as far as like your business, how, I mean, you don't have to tell me numbers or anything, but how successful is it because of that model?
It's become much more successful because of that model.
Yeah.
Because then it allows people to, it's self-managing. So if you don't do a good job, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So that works really well for me. And it keeps my people in the energy of giving. And that keeps the energy around the stand good. People can feel it when they're walking by. They're like, oh, these people are so much fun. They're having such a great time at work. And that's another thing I really believe in is you got to have fun. You know, they come there to have a good time. And so we're a place where people can come and get relief and just sit down, decompress. They can relax. We rub their feet. We just love on them a little bit. That's why our tagline is Executive Shine. It's all about the love. But it's so lacking now, and so people are so hungry for just a little love.
Yeah. So like love in the world is lacking.
Yeah, I think love in the world. Actually, I think the things that are happening are making people realize that they need to love. So it's actually kind of stirring it up. But there's a lot of people who are really empty, and so we try to just give it to as many people as are ready to receive it.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool. I know you just texted me the other day. You had a special guest come.
We did.
Ooh, and what did they say about your services?
We did. We had Joe Biden come, which was really exciting.
It's so funny. She sends me the picture and she's like, "Guess who came?" And I'm like, "Who?" And she sends me a picture and I'm like, "Okay, but who? Like, who is that?" Yeah. I guess our vice president, old vice president.
That is our ex-vice president
of the United States. How did he
enjoy country?
Yeah. Oops. I don't know. Politics. But hey, how did he enjoy his shine, and what did he have to say about it?
He did, and we put the picture on our Facebook, and he responded to us, and the city was really excited about it, and they put it on the airport Facebook page, and he responded that it was the best shoe shine he ever had.
He that
was really exciting.
Right?
Yeah, he retweeted it,
which
was
so
really
cool.
exciting. And then the neatest thing is then the next day he came back. And he came back and tapped Jonathan on the shoulder, and he said, "Hey, I just wanted to say hi and thank you guys for everything, and it was such a great experience." And he said, "Thank you for making me famous." And I'm like, seriously?
That's so crazy, because
that was crazy.
From a guy who gets everything handed to him, he can get anything, has anything, and everything. And you guys just gave him a little bit of love, and look at how much he appreciated it.
Well, he's a really beautiful human being.
Is he?
And so he's available to receive it too. So that was it was really a nice relationship with him. He was really, really kind to us.
Good.
And so I was really, really very impressed with him and how much heart he showed, and how he wanted to take a picture with. We're always careful how we treat people like people.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're the president, I don't care if you're famous, whatever. We just treat you like a human being. And we just love you all the same, and so we're kind of careful about taking pictures with people and stuff, but that was kind of an exceptional thing, so we took a picture with him, and he was really excited to do that. And just coming back and going out of his way to come back and say hi, that meant a lot to me. And that really showed a lot of character, I think, on who he was as a human being.
Yeah.
And the fact that we made a connection with him.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just like a number. People that come to our business, it's the same as you. You know, it's a one of a kind. It's an experience.
Mm-hmm. It's an experience.
So I think that's the kind of thing you've got to create in any business.
Yep, an experience. Okay, so we don't have to say your age, but I know that you have so much wisdom over the time, over the amount of years that you've lived. And the difference between somebody that like goes through a lot and somebody that learns a lot is two different things, right? And I know the type of person you are, so I know that you've learned a lot. What is like one or two of the biggest lessons you've learned in life, just period, in life?
I think I try to do everything I do as a tool to love people. So, and I see that everywhere. That's part of the reason I like what you do so much, is because what you really are doing is delivering love. You're sewing, you're designing, but really you're delivering love to people, and you do it with love, and when you do it in that kind of energy, that's how they feel it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important. And just to honor people where they're at, and not to judge.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've learned is that judgment kills all forward movement of any kind.
So there's a quote that says, when you judge, it removes all room for love. So basically,
it does.
Yeah.
It does. It cancels love, period. And I think that if you look at people and you assume that they're doing their best, and you just love them anyway, because it's just all they can do, then you can move forward from that place. You know, they can move on, they can get better, they can grow, then you can start to see the beauty within them. But if you judge them, you can't see the beauty within anyone. Right.
And that was what's so cool and stuck out. Like when I first met you, you were the only woman that, like, let's just say looked like you, that had been interested in what I was doing and wanted to even help me, because oftentimes I feel like they just judge right away based off what I look like, and they don't even give me like 5 seconds to tell them, to get a word out so that they really know who I am, or, you know, start to. But so that was really cool. That's one thing I did notice forever and always, like, you don't judge, like, you let people show you who they are rather than assume who they are, you know.
But your spirit shows up far before you do.
Really?
So anybody who's sensitive at all realizes you are amazing, and there's an amazing person in there, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do in your life, because there is just so much potential within you. So, and you're not afraid to show it, and you're not afraid to talk about it. And one of the quotes a friend of mine told me, it was Gloria Steinem.
Okay.
And she said, he asked her, what would you do different? And she said, I would have spoke louder sooner. And I thought, wow, that's really a big deal, because being silent is really part of the problem.
Right.
And when you speak your truth, you're paving the way for other people to do the same thing. And that's a really beautiful thing. And that's what needs to happen in the world. We're not supposed to be alike. You're not supposed to be like me. I'm not supposed to be like you. I'm supposed to do what I do well. You do what you do well. And then we work together.
Right.
And that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be everybody fully expressing what they came here to do.
So we just left literally like an hour ago, a photo shoot, and it was so amazing. And not only because of the people, well, not only because of the photos that came out of it, but the people that showed up, the makeup artist, the hairstylist, the model, the photographer, me, like, we all came and we were all professional and stayed in our lane and did our best. And like the result was so cool. We were just talking about something right here, like, wow, like, and you know what, we did this shoot in 2 hours. Like, we had 3 looks, like, we had to go to a different location, and it was just a lot that normally you would never be able to accomplish in 2 hours. But because everybody was on point and stuck in their lane and did what they do, here we are on time.
That's
so
awesome.
it's really cool. So being, you know, I know as a I never refer to myself as successful yet, because I always have so much more to do, but as a woman entrepreneur, I know how hard it is to be one, right? So what are something that you do every day? Like, is there a routine you have every day when you wake up? Is there something you do as a successful woman?
I have a really high-tech system. I say, okay, God, what is it you want to do today? What is it you want to do through me today? And I try to be open to that, and I try to flow with, and sometimes that gets me a little late sometimes. That's you know, so flow looks different sometimes, but I try to just be sensitive to that when I get inspired action. And then I try and be quiet, and I try and feel like, okay, what is supposed to happen through me today?
Yeah.
You know, who am I supposed to? I try to be open to that all the time. Fortunately, I get to have a pretty unstructured schedule most of the time. When you have to do things, obviously you have to pay attention, but if it's just me, myself, and even when I'm working on my book, I just say, okay, God, what do you want to write today?
Yeah.
And I just try and be sensitive to that.
Like, listen.
Yeah, because I really believe that I'm just a vessel. And I love to see that when people ask me different questions, what it pulls out of me.
Yeah.
That feels good to me.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite things.
So watch out, Oprah, you're next. So growing up, well, 1, how did you grow up? And 2, did you always think you were going to be a boss?
Oh, no. I think you have a choice. I'm rebellious.
Yeah.
So when people told me that, oh, you'll never make it without me helping you, you'll never make it, I have to choose between, my wife, my stepmom, I have to choose between my stepmom and you, and I choose her. So then you just learn that all that, anybody who's going to get anything done, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all on you. So yeah, at that point, I was like, okay, God, you're just going to be my dad. So it's just going to be like me and you. We're just going to get this life done. We're just going to do whatever we need to do and make it happen. And I never in a million years thought I would shine shoes. But shining shoes is magical. You meet amazing people and you get to have wonderful conversations that you wouldn't normally. I mean, look, how many people just can chill with the vice president,
Yeah.
I mean, and just have a regular relationship. I remember when I worked in Washington, I did Secretary of State Jim Baker's shoes all the time, and what a wonderful human being he was. And also Supreme Court Justice Byron White, and he used to call him Whizzer, and he was an amazing guy. And I've just met all kinds of celebrities and all kinds of different people, and just had regular soul-to-soul conversations with them. And that's what they like.
Yeah.
They just want somebody that sees them for the human being behind the mask.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's, my childhood was okay.
It was okay. Was it too rough? Was it too good?
No, it just, it came in sections, then it changed when my parents got divorced, and that was a big deal for me. But then you have a choice on how you're going to make your life.
Yeah.
And so you got to make it what you want to make it.
What
So
age did you start your company at?
I started my shoe shine company when I was 19.
Wow. That's why we connect.
Yeah.
Same.
And that's why I said when I see you,
cool.
I see a lot of me and you.
Yeah.
I see a lot of drive, just unbelievable drive. And I mean, there's just no chance you would ever fail. That just isn't a word that's in your vocabulary. I mean, you don't even ever even think about that. Like, I don't even think about that. I've been on like extension on contracts, for a long time. People are like, are you nervous or something? I said, are you kidding?
Yeah.
We're the best in the United States, period.
Yep.
And so when you do what you do, the best that you can possibly do it, and you have a team of people to work with you, around you that do that, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So nobody can touch that. And it's hard to believe because it's really easy to being in love with what you do, and in love with people, and in love with doing a good job.
I don't think it's very easy. I think a lot of people have hard times with that. I remember, actually, you're one of the kind of people that showed me, but before, like 2 years ago, I could never just be like, I love you, if I barely knew the person, because I thought that was such a valuable, like, sacred word. Like, you don't just say that to anyone, so that's how I was taught and, like, thought anyways. And so the more I grew and knew you and, like, knew great people that are, like, just showing love and spreading it as much as they can. I think a lot of people have that mindset, though. They're like, oh, they don't know that they can love other people. They don't know it's okay, and then they don't know if they'll be rejected or accepted. So I think a lot of people have a hard time loving people.
Yeah.
But we do need more of it. Question real quick that I just thought of when you said that. You said, we are the best in the country, period. And a lot of people would take that as, like, if I said that right now, if I said I was the best stylist in the country, period, a lot of people would take that as me being conceited or cocky because, that's just perception. But I like how you came and how you said that. What is your take on just that confidence? Because I know that's what it is. It's just the confidence, and you're just very sure because you put your best, and all your employees do. But how do you feel about that?
When you do your best, you are the best. I mean, when you give your whole heart to people every single time,
Yeah.
that's the best. It doesn't have to look, I mean, it looks different, like I said, for each person, but that is the best. And so I think anytime that you do that, you make an impact. And when you make it, you change people's life.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
Yeah. That's the best thing you could do.
Yeah. And regarding telling people you love them, and one of the things people don't understand is that you can show love in all kinds of ways. We were just talking about our friend Barry, who's an amazing chef. I mean, he shows love to people through his cooking in amazing ways. You know, you have friends that are hairstylists. They make people look beautiful. That's how they love people.
Yep.
So if they can just find a way, you know, our videographer, you know, he loves people through shooting good video.
Yeah.
And pulling out the best of the best to show people. So that's all that it is. And if people understand that, that's all that it is. And it doesn't matter if you're an accountant or a garbage collector or a shoe shine person. You can change people's lives everywhere you go just by your energy, just by where you come from. So when you design something, the magic that's in your design is from your heart, and you can feel that. It's the energy that you do it with. And that's the really important thing that makes an impact on people, I think. That's what changes people's lives. Because when people see, wow, like she's a shoe shine person and she can change somebody's life. Wow, I'm a CEO. Am I changing people's lives?
Yeah. And that's what you guys are getting them to question.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how you impact people, is you just show up fully yourself. And it causes them to reflect and to look at themselves and say, wow, am I doing my best? Am I all that I can be?
Yeah.
You know, and some days that means taking a nap. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be perfect every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's a process.
Yeah.
And you have to allow yourselves that ebb and flow too with your energy to be able to share that with people fully.
That's a good point to my next question. So I've never seen you have a bad day. I've never seen you mad, angry, sad. So coming from a person who is always appearing to look happy and literally on top of the world, if you do you ever have bad days, and how do you get out of it?
I do have more down days, and I have to catch myself. I have to not judge myself. I have to be like, okay, you just need a break. You know, you just need to take a nap. You just need to rest. You need to do something, find something. I have kind of an arsenal of things that make me happy, like my horses and walking around outside. I love taking pictures. I love this fall. I love going to the cabin. I love when I come down the stairs in the morning and the light is fabulous and there's all these beautiful changing leaves everywhere, and I love to take pictures of like the dew, just a little drop of dew on the beautiful leaf that's changing colors. And so it's just, you have to shift, you have to be in charge of that, and you have to shift your focus, and you have to think, you know, what would make me feel better right now? This thought that I'm thinking isn't making me feel good, so I need to change thoughts and change direction. Yeah.
And you just pointed out something that I think not a lot of people have in common with you and I, and it's something I do have in common with you, and I never knew, but you just pointed out, like, you just see the smallest beauty in the world, and I think that's so important for everyone to see. You know, take the time to like look up at the sky today, or, you know, the leaves or the little sap on the tree or whatever.
So we just changed around because we just commented about your jacket and how amazing that is, and now you're making a collection of them, because that's what people need to do, is what does your soul sound like?
Yeah.
Who are you? And what are you here to express? What's your gift?
How do you, I had somebody come up to me at the Women of, a conference I spoke at, and so this guy, a middle-aged guy, came up to me, really random, and was like, okay, how do I find my passion? I just quit my job and I'm trying to go full-time to do what I love. And I was like, whoa, like that kind of put me in a spot. What would you have told him?
I think you need to spend time alone, and I think you need to start making lists of what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And then figure out, go from there, because it comes from what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And it often comes out of something bad happening.
Yeah.
So out of the storm,
right,
you know, new things happen, and that's if you look at that, like, where's the gift? Where's the gift in this? You know, I know there's a gift here.
In the bad times, the hard times.
Yeah. So the gift in him quitting his job is that he now gets to discover himself.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest gift in your whole life.
Yeah.
The whole journey is one from being born in self-love and then falling out of it and then falling back into it.
So how many employees do you have?
They're not employees, they're actually contractors, but about 100 between here and Charlotte.
Wow. So 100 contractors, 2 different states your company is in right now, in the airports, and I know it's taken you, how long do you feel like till you would consider yourself successful?
You mean like from now on?
From when you started your company?
From when I started?
Yeah.
I was successful right away because I loved people.
Yeah.
And because that was what it was about for me.
Yeah.
Was how can I figure out a way to make this such a great experience for you that you come back?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just started and I was broke. And I went to the airport in Washington and they're like, oh, and by the way, you need to pay rent. I'm like, rent? I just moved in. Are you kidding me? What do you mean? Don't you pay rent like at the end? I mean, I haven't made any money yet. How can I pay rent? And I used to write down on a piece of paper, you know, oh, I made $200 and, you know, that's going to go to pay for my car or pay for my rent or pay for the airport or, you know, all of those really sophisticated accounting system. That's, so it worked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was amazing. I started asking people for advice. Like, where do you think I should go on, you know, I want to take my mom on vacation. Do you got any good ideas? And you would watch them completely shift from stressed out business person or congressman or judge or whatever to like, oh, let me tell you about my best vacation ever. Mm-hmm. And it would take them in their mind to a happy place.
Yeah.
So then they would associate me with that happy place. And then their shoes would look great too and their feet would feel good and this is good, you know, I made this so appealing that they have to come back next time. So then they'll think of something else. If you ask people for advice, then they think of something else that they want to tell you.
Yeah.
So then the next time they come, they're like, oh, and I forgot to tell you about this part and that part and this part. And I was like, this is amazing.
So I guess my question doesn't apply to you because it's very rare that this won't apply to you. But I was going to say, or I was going to ask, there's a quote that says, you know, it's easy to get, but it's hard to maintain. And it sounds like it's going to be easy to get and easy to maintain for you because you're doing it out of love and really just changing people's lives.
Well, and I did that because I needed love, you know? I mean, I went through that situation with my father, and so I was looking for love too, so I wanted people to like me.
Yeah.
So how can I make that work? How can I make this experience for them so that they come back? Because I wanted them to like me. You know, so how does that work?
Yeah.
So I just played around with things. I had contests, like, who can wear the coolest socks, gets a free shoe shine, you know? We had people running our country, pulling their leg up, showing me their socks, which was absolutely hilarious. And I thought, wow, these people are starving for a little attention.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just did things like that. And just, again, it wasn't a really sophisticated plan. It was just me being in tune with, okay, God, what should I do today? And, you know, some random thing will come out of my mouth like, oh, let's have a socks contest, you know?
Yeah.
And people responded. So it was just really fun. It gave them a chance to express themselves. And when you do that in their otherwise very sterile world, you know, especially in Washington where I started, that was, you know, you had to be a certain way, look a certain way. And so if they could come to me and pull up their pant leg and show me their crazy purple and green socks, you know, and have me get excited about it, you know, it made their day.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is really crazy.
Yeah.
I used to tell my mom, wow, people are starving. This is amazing. This is really fun. You know, it's so easy to make people's day.
Yeah. I think that also has to go back to kind of what you were talking about earlier. When you be yourself, you allow other people to be themselves. And it's crazy how many people aren't themselves and don't feel like they can be themselves. For instance, those politicians or whatever, you know, like the only inch that they were able to express themselves is going to be covered when they sit down or stand up, you know what I mean? Like their socks. And that's just crazy. So with such a busy schedule, so much to do, you're writing a book, you have 2 states that you work out of, your contractors work out of, you have 100 contractors. How do you balance everything?
I live in the country. I have horses. I have 8 dogs.
Wow.
Like animals, you know, are relaxing for me and being in a place where I can have peace. You know, I go to the mountains. I spend time by myself, you know, and just meditating, just being in tune with nature. I love being outside. I think you have to balance the things you do, and focus on it being life-giving, but you also need to do life-giving things for yourself. That's why I'm so impressed with what you're doing with your Beauty from the Inside Out. I mean, that is unbelievable, because that's exactly where it's got to come from, and people have got to take time to restore themselves and pay attention to what feels good for them, because you don't have anything to give if you don't take care of yourself. So I've got chickens, all kinds of crazy, we call it chicken TV. I mean, you can watch, chickens are an absolute riot. So man, it's really, they're hysterical. So a lot of those things are very grounding for me.
That's cool. Last question.
We have a pet fox. We have a pet fox up at the cabin. Danny knows my pet fox.
So
it's true.
many animals.
Very cute.
He is a rock star.
Like my sister.
I mean, it's really cool when you could talk to a fox and you could call him by his name and he comes to the back porch.
That's cool.
So that's kind of fun too. Just little things.
An arsenal of things that make you happy. That's what you guys got to start getting.
Definitely.
Stocking up.
You need to really have that planned, because you don't know when things are going to happen that are going to kind of shift you. And you're just going to have like, oh, rough day. You know, yesterday I did a 360 on Berthoud Pass going home, and I was like, okay then. Okay, so I need to like focus on things that make me feel good, because like right now I'm not too comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. That's really good. Something you said a minute ago, and I think I've talked to a lot of women, young, old, but all entrepreneurs that run their own businesses, and a common factor is they feel very isolated and lonely. And you just said a minute ago that, you know, it's very important to take time, and you love spending time alone. When was there ever a point that you didn't love spending time alone, and it was just forced because that's what we have to do as women entrepreneurs?
Well, in my business, it's almost like being on stage. So when you're at the airport, you need to be 100%, and I'm 100% with, you know, 100,000 people, like all the time. So to balance that out for me, I have to be alone. But I do think some people need to be alone. But there's a lot of creative people that need to connect with other people that are on their same level and on their same team. Like you need a power team. You need some friends that are for you, that think that nothing you can do is wrong, you know, that believe in you, support you, that share your vision and you share theirs. So building those mastermind kind of relationships and those mentor kind of relationships and people you can call if you need to be, you know, boost yourself up a little bit. You need to have that. You need to have that support system, I think.
That is definitely true. And you're part of mine, so thank you. So that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for coming on today.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell them?
Just be who you are. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, just be you.
And just be you. That's your gift.
That's the beauty.
That's your gift. You know, take the mask off and just be yourself.
Yeah.
You have permission.
Yes, you have permission to take your mask off. That's a good way to end this. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, so good. You did great.
That was good.